Today we're going to the forest. It's a beautiful still day, plenty of sunshine, warm, just the right day to tackle the forest, which will bring new challenges for Nini. But before we get there, we've got a tractor to get past. Yeah. Morning. Lovely day, isn't it? You picked the right day to come over. So what I'm going to do is, there's a nice tractor to get past here, so I'm going to let Nini take the lead, and we could spend a couple of minutes here before we proceed down the drive. Good girl, Nini. I shouldn't take notice of that. Do you want to come back round here? It grows up quickly, doesn't it? That's very good, Nini. See you later. Well, she wouldn't have done that a few weeks ago, would she? She'd have got stuck for sure. Actually, the grass is, well, Nini, she's not on the grass. She's in a little paddock with another little mare unshod, to prevent, she's not out with the herd because it can get a little rough, understandably. That's what herd living's like. But she has a little friend, and the two of them spend time together, but because they're used to it, you can take one out and leave the other, and there's no real problems. So when we bring the other one out after Nini comes back, Nini just stays in the paddock on her own, and she doesn't run up and down the fence line or get worried. Keeping two can be awkward, keeping two together, but if they're managed properly right from the start, then that's okay. So but overall the grass is really good this year. We've got quite a lot of it. In fact, some of it needs topping where there's been too much to eat, and that's what the tractor's going to do today. It's going to top some over the other side of the hill. It's quite lovely and lush and rich, and of course it does make them a bit fresh because of all this grass. And of course when they're like Nini on haylage, and the quality of your haylage is excellent, it can be a bit like rocket fuel. So on a Monday they come back to work after the weekend, you know, all business. But today's Tuesday, and so they had Monday to, you know, to get settled into the week, as it were. And also they've both had a little lunch yesterday and today, just so that they won't, just to take the edge off their freshness, really, so they won't give us any problems, freshness related problems, shall we say. So I'm going to, you probably won't want to watch us just trotting up the road to the forest. We're going the long way round. There's the sheep having a lie down. We're going to go the long way round so that it's all new territory for Nini, and it'll just taking the long route to the forest will be good to sort of settle her before we get there, so you probably don't want to watch that. So unless there's a reason to turn the camera on, I'll switch it off now, and we'll see you in the forest. I've just turned the camera on again because we were chatting about how long it takes, you know, to get a horse from the beginning, from never had a saddle and never having a rider, you know, how long it takes in terms of months. I mean, it's not weeks, it's months. And how often people's perception of what they should be doing by a certain week or number of weeks, you know, it should be doing this, that and the other by a set number of weeks. But of course, in reality, making a young horse fit a certain time frame, irrespective of that horse's kind of individual temperament and outlook on life, it is really not helpful to the process, because they all reach milestones at different time frames, and in the grand scheme of things, you know, if you've got a 4-year-old horse that, you know, will still be riding hopefully into its 20s and even beyond these days, you know, the way we keep horses is so much better than in previous generations. In the grand scheme of things, does it matter if it's taken 1 month, 6 months, or however long it takes to get where it needs to go? So it's not very helpful to the horse to try and get it to fit with this preconceived idea of what it should be doing, by a certain length of time, based on, I don't know what other horses have been doing, but you don't actually know, you know, if you didn't follow that horse's career, what other difficulties it may have had to overcome in the future if the initial training was a little bit too hurried. And I was just saying that today Nini looks kind of more as if she's got more control over her body. I mean, this is a gradual process, and, you know, it hasn't suddenly happened today, but today I've sort of noticed it more, that she looks more balanced across all 4 legs, as if she knows where her body is, and she's able to more effectively use all of her body. So she moves more as a unit, which you'd expect, you know, from a horse that's actually reached a certain level of riding. And not only that, I also noticed that when Amy uses one leg and not the other, that Nini is now listening and responds to, is starting to respond to individual legs, whereas before she couldn't differentiate between one leg and both legs, or, you know, one rein and another rein. So that's all good. And of course, in trot, she is, unless she sees something, it's able to keep in a much straighter line because of that balance. So that's good. So then I said, you know, how I always like to remind people that if you took a young person who'd, you know, didn't know anything about horses, and said, right, well, I'm going to train you to train a horse, lunge a horse, start it under saddle, get it riding out, do everything like that. Well, to teach that person how to even lunge a horse effectively and appropriately, and to get and to then show them how what you need to do when you're actually going to start transferring the groundwork into written work, etc., etc. Well, you're probably looking at you are looking at years, absolutely years, to get that person able to teach that horse that information. Yet when it comes to teaching the horse the information that we already know, and the horse knows nothing about it, we expect it to all be done within a matter of weeks or months. And if we think about it, and horses are meant to be not as intelligent as us, our expectations compared with what we could do if we knew as little as the horse does are totally unrealistic. So if we look at it more in those terms, so we can't give the horse verbal instructions like you can a person. It all has to be them understanding you're learning the cues and learning what's to be expected. I actually think, they learn, well, they do, they learn much more quickly than us humans about how to be a riding horse, compared with what it would take to teach the human how to make a riding horse. So anyway, I just wanted to put that point across, and I'll turn the camera off again because we're not yet at the forest.